Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Anything is Possumable. And this one's going to be fun. We have a special guest, some special guests with us. Krista, I'll let you give the introduction.
Yes, I'm so excited about this today. I want to introduce you to my dear friend and coach and mentor. Her name is Roseann, and she's officially my wildlife mentor. And so it's not her fault, the dumb things I do, but she has been a great help to me and to lots of folks who've tried to help animals and tons of animals. So anyway, we're super excited to have her today, so we're glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
It's a great opportunity to talk about critters and get people to understand them.
Yes.
That way you're not afraid of them.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, so they say.
And we fear what we don't know.
Oh,
Yes.
so true. Yeah. So we wanted to talk about, we've had, Al Cockrum actually had sent in a question a while back and wanted to know who had the possum. And several of you have asked, where the possum mascot came from and this kind of thing. So even some of you have said that you're learning more about possums. So we're super excited she's here today to fill us in a little bit more on that. So we were going to talk, first of all, about the possum, that's our mascot, that his name was George Jones. And I don't know if you remember this, but George was an accident, as how most of these things go. Red, that you've seen in some of our videos, Red the healer had brought a possum up to my house earlier in the week, so I already have one possum, and I'd already called Roseann about that possum because I didn't know what to do. And anyway, she had instructed me, and we'd already visited. And then later in the week, I got a call from my veterinarian friend, Dr. Royal, and someone had called her, and they had found a possum. And she said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a veterinary assistant also.
Oh, that's key information.
Isn't it good to know? Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm doing, but it's something. So I went to the lady's house, and she said, I've got this possum back here. I don't know if he's alive. And we went and looked at it, and that's what she said to me. She said, I didn't have the heart to take a shovel to him, so he's in this box. And I was like, okay. So I don't know if you remember that part.
Lord.
So I'm glad that she did not, because he was still alive, and I brought him home. And of course, I think I probably called you on the way because I didn't know what to do. And so Roseann started telling me about the medications that he needed. He had been attacked by a cat, and so we had to get him cleaned up, get him on antibiotics immediately, did a little clean stuff, and anyway. And that's how George came to be in our possession, because immediately I was asking Roseann tons of questions, and she is super patient, and she still has her hair and didn't pull it all out.
It was brown before I met you. But just to back up a half a second, it's important to know that you and I have a relationship because I'm a licensed wildlife rehabber in the state of North Carolina. And to become a wildlife rehabber, you have to actually apprentice with someone for a year. And Krista did want to get involved, so she is my apprentice. So she's working with me closely. You can't just pick up a possum, off the street and start taking care of it. You do have to go through training, and you have to mentor with someone who knows a little bit more about the species and about how to take care of them the right way.
Yes, and there's a legal process. You have to sign up online, and it's through the North Carolina Wildlife Association?
Well, it's pretty much, North Carolina Resources Commission is the actual title. Yeah.
Yes. And you have to renew that license. You have to keep up with
Annually.
your licenses. Yeah. Yes.
But George was a trip from day one. He had a personality. He really did. He was very active.
Yeah. he was, it was really interesting because I knew nothing about possums until that week. And then we learned, and we learned some more.
Yeah.
And then for some reason he started chewing his finger.
Yeah.
He chewed a note of their finger. And so possums normally have 5 fingers on
5
each.
fingers and 5 toes.
Yes.
And each, they have opposable thumbs on both the front and back legs to facilitate climbing more than anything else, and holding food.
So cute.
They are cute when they do that, yeah.
Yes. So,
But the main goal when we take in any type of a wild critter is to get them to a point, because we get them in either they've been hit by a car or attacked by a dog, so we get adults, we get babies. They're orphaned, mom drops them, and possums are famous for that. Mom will have her 13 babies clinging to her back, and one drops off and she says, "See ya. I got 12 more, I'm going." So if they're not big enough, it helps that we can get them into care and get them to a point where they've developed enough to be able to be out on their own. And that is the goal of wildlife rehabilitation. It's to get the animal to where they can be out in the wild doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's where we were going with George,
right.
in the high hopes that he would be somebody that would be out in the wild, eating bugs, cleaning up, being the sanitation road crew, eating roadkill. But he started to develop this crazy psychosis, I would almost say, where he would chew on his paws to the point where he ended up losing 2. So then we went through the
did.
cone process.
Oh, that was a whole
Yeah.
other. So then George wore a cone, and when it started, he was so small that we started with a cup, and it was like those little cups that you have in your bathroom where you, like if you have like water by the sink, it was like those little tiny cups. And Roseann would like cut a hole and put it on his head and tie it, and anyway, and then as he grew, we had to graduate the size.
Bigger
of the cups.
cones, yeah.
And eventually he got like a regular cat cone.
Yeah, yeah. But the whole purpose was to try to keep him away from his paws so he would stop chewing and hopefully get away from the whole chewing craze.
Right.
But it didn't seem to work.
No. But that's how we ended up with the name three-toed possum.
Because he had 3 toes on one little hand.
Yes.
And a cone, a permanent cone of shame.
Yeah. It was cute though, seeing him
Yeah.
in the cone. Yeah.
Possums across the country weep when they see his picture. Funny.
Oh my goodness. We learned a lot though.
We did, and that's, I think, part of the great thing about doing any kind of wildlife rehab is that every animal you take in teaches you something. And the more knowledge we have, the better it is, because eventually that knowledge could very well help us too. One of the amazing things about possums is that they're immune to West Nile virus that they would
really?
get from, and also from tick bite disease. Help me with that name.
Lime.
Lyme disease. They eat ticks quite a bit. That's a big part of their diet, and they're completely immune to getting sick from it. They're also immune to venom from any poisonous snake. So and snakes are a favorite food in the wild.
Really?
So they have become a focus of attention for their ability to resist those types of things, in a hope of maybe applying some sort of process to the human factor for the same reasons.
Yeah.
So every animal serves a great purpose.
That's so cool.
It is. It really is.
Okay, well some people, I hear this question here and there. People are confused about whether possums can get rabies or not.
Okay, well, there's a few misconceptions that it's a good opportunity to talk about, and that is one of them. Rabies is pretty well established throughout the United States. It's not that common anymore, but the great thing about a possum is it is almost less than 0.1% of them ever getting rabies, because of the fact that their body temperature is so low. Even if they get bitten by a rabid animal, their body doesn't have enough temperature to it to actually incubate the virus to have them replicate it.
Oh,
So
wow.
they just go their merry way. The only time that it can affect a possum is if they are already sick and have a temperature that has elevated their body temperature, and then they can get it. But typically, that animal is certainly not going to have enough time to transfer it, the disease, to somebody else, because at that point it's almost dead within a few hours.
Oh, okay.
Compared to a human, what is the temperature of a possum average?
Below 86 degrees.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a big difference, and that kind of helps a lot of their immunity system. Is that there's things that they just can't incubate. So that's a very good common misconception. They don't carry rabies. Another misconception is that they are rats, and they are not. They're more closely associated with a koala bear or a kangaroo. They are a marsupial. It's the only marsupial in North America. And they have a pouch. So that's what qualifies them as a marsupial. And they are completely clean. That's the other problem I hear all the time. They're such dirty animals, and they are so not dirty at all. You'll see them when we have them in care, when we're rehabilitating them, that every time they eat, as soon as they're finished eating, they start cleaning themselves. And that's part of why they end up eating so many ticks in the wild as well, because as they're moving through the underbrush and so forth, naturally in a normal environment, they're picking up ticks. But they constantly groom, so that tick now becomes a little snack. So it's all part of what their purpose in life is, but it just shows that they are extremely clean animals. So it's just some of the common misconceptions that I hear, that it would be good to get out there and have people know.
Yes.
So
Don't you want to ask about what they eat and?
Yeah, like what does their diet mainly consist of?
bugs, and they love fruit. Any fallen fruit like persimmons or muscadines that have fallen on the ground. They love sweet things, so they'll go after those. They also go for anything that's already dead. So in the wild, animals will die from one reason or another. They're the little cleanup crew. That's why so many of them end up getting hit on the side of the road, because they see some roadkill. They go to get a snack and
Gotcha.
get bumped. So, but yeah, so mostly things that are already dead. They will go for bugs primarily. They do love snakes, mice, and fallen fruit, vegetables. They scavenge whatever they can get. So those are the types of things, and it keeps a well-balanced diet for them to keep them healthy.
I didn't realize they were meat eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're omnivores. So vegetables and
Yeah.
and meat. Yep.
Wow. I just assumed bugs mainly, and of course some vegetation, but
Yeah.
snakes and rats, that's very surprising.
Yeah. So they do help a lot. They're extremely beneficial to the environment, basically because they do feed on things that are decaying. So obviously that keeps the environment cleaner.
Yeah.
But they also keep down the bug population, which can be very helpful. And just keep everything moving along.
So when you're taking care of them, how do you work their diet and feed them?
That's a good question. Typically when they first come into me, if they're babies, they have to stay on just plain formula, just like any baby would, until they weigh a certain amount. And then we start transitioning them. So until they weigh roughly 50 grams, they're basically eating only formula. And the interesting thing about the formula that we feed them is that you can't feed them with a bottle or a dropper. Because if you look at the shape of their face, we'll do that in a minute. If you look at the shape of their face, they really can't latch on to a nipple to suck. So the way we have to feed them is sort of the same way their mom feeds them when she has them. And we could talk about that in a minute. So we actually will use a feeding tube, a human feeding tube, and measure it to go into their stomach and put the formula right into their stomach
Oh, wow.
every 3 hours.
Oh, that's a job.
It's a commitment, yeah, it's a commitment, and that's what most people don't realize about wildlife rehab, is that feedings are many times a day, often through the night, and an animal usually needs anywhere from a week to 3 months to get to a point where they're old enough to actually be able to release. So just a word about the whole process of how baby possums come into being. It's really interesting because they are born not as baby possums, but they're born as embryos. Mom goes through a 11 to 13 day gestation period, and that's it. From that point, those babies, which are the size of generally a honeybee, so maybe your pinky nail, they will, and they're blind, sightless, no fur, just little pink gummy bears, kind of reminds me of when I see them. So these little gummy bears have to make it from the birth canal up to the mom's pouch, which is somewhere close to the middle of her belly. And they have to, from that point, latch on to one of her nipples. And she has 13. She can have 22 babies, but only 13 of them are going to find sustenance. So those 13 are the lucky 13. Bizarre as that sounds. So,
The lucky 13.
the lucky 13. So they will latch onto a nipple, but the nipple does not actually look like a normal nipple. The way that they will actually grow is that the nipple grows down into their esophagus.
Really?
Yeah, so that it, and the way you can tell this is if you ever find a possum that's deceased on the side of the road and you check for babies, you'll find that they are firmly latched onto that nipple, and it is actually down into their throat.
Wow.
So milk constantly drips into them. So hence the same way that we have to feed them when we're taking care of them is similar to the way their mom feeds them all along.
Oh, wow.
So these little tiny honeybee-sized babies, embryos, are completely non-viable on their own. It would be like an extremely premature human baby. Without any help would not be able to survive. So they will actually stay latched onto that nipple for generally almost close to 2 months, where they're finishing developing. They're actually finishing internal growth, internal organ development, brain function, eye function, and fur, tails. Every little bit of nuance of their development occurs during that period of time while they're still in mom's pouch and latched to that nipple. Once they get beyond that and they're pretty much starting to get to the point where they can start to eat bugs and get curious about what's going on, they will start to crawl out of her pouch. They'll still go back for snacks, believe me, but for the most part they will climb onto mom, and as she's foraging in the woods, they will forage with her, and they'll eat the ticks and they'll go through their thing, and eventually when they're too big, they dissipate and go their own way. But you're talking about like a 4-month process from day one to drop-off point. So that's it's a long process. So if you ever see a mom with 13 babies clinging to her, you got to figure by that point she is so done with this mess. It's like no more. So that's pretty much the way that whole thing works. But it's really pretty amazing. If you we should take one out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't do this at home.
Yeah, don't do this at home. You heard that, right? How many litters do they have? They call them litters?
Typically they'll have 2 a year. That's beyond that. Mom can't really. So I usually start getting the first orphans in spring, and then this guy is one of the last litters of the season. He came in probably about a month ago, and as you can see, this one is a boy.
You can see his little hands.
You can see that. Yep, the hands. They definitely
and
do.
And the tail.
Yeah, the tail. That's another misconception, that people say that possums hang by their tail, and they may when they're babies, when they still weigh fairly little, But their tail is an extension of their spine, and it basically is just a tool, like a hand, to help them with balance. And that's about all. So when they're climbing a tree, which they love to do, they will use that as a means of keeping their balance and making sure that they don't fall. And if you can see, the back legs are a little bit different in that they've got a funny thumb that allows them to really grab onto branches to be able to climb.
Yeah.
Just gives them a lot more flexibility and stability. And the tail will wrap around again just as a confidence builder and a way of them making sure that if they do lose their grip, they've got extra strength to hold them into where they are.
Wow.
Hi, buddy.
They're very, very soft. Their fur is coarser later when they're adults. But the interesting thing is that they, many, many, many years ago, were sought for fur to use as coat linings.
Oh.
Thank goodness that has stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are very, very curious animals because curiosity is basically how they're going to find their food. Their eyesight is not terrific. These guys are also nocturnal, which means that they're most active at night as opposed to being diurnal, which is active during the day. And so this is kind of unusual for them to be out like this.
And how long do they usually live in the wild?
In the wild, 2 years. So not very long. So those 2 litters of 13 a year, and that's the max, you can see that that sustains them given their short lifespan. In captivity, there are places that do keep possums as display animals, zoos and so forth, and they can live 5 years in captivity.
Gotcha.
It is illegal in the state of North Carolina to have a possum in captivity if you do not have a captivity permit or wildlife rehab permit.
You're getting sassy.
You may take a break.
I think they'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is it true that they've been around since the dinosaurs?
Since the dinosaurs, yep.
Wow.
Yep. So they must be doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want it.
No, you're just, are you mad?
Uninterested.
I'm so mad.
Oh, want to lick it? It's like, no. Nope.
No.
No. Maybe. No. Well, there you go. You take it? There you go. Yeah.
And towards the end of life, they fail very, very quickly, which in a way is a blessing. They don't, usually suffer very long, but
Is he gonna eat it?
nah,
No.
No, that's the,
yeah.
that's the, I'm not really
That's
excited.
it, yeah,
right
I'm
now.
not excited about you or anything else that's going on here. But they've been around a very long time, and hopefully they'll be around a long time to come.
Yeah.
They, like most native wildlife in North Carolina, they have adapted to the change from urban to rural. So people see them more often now because so much of our woodland is disappearing, and that's their habitat. In order to survive, they adapt. So you'll see them more often in your backyard, and they're not a bad thing to have. They're going to keep down your bug population. Slugs are a favorite thing that they like to eat.
Oh.
So if you have
know
slugs in
that.
your garden, here's your best pest control that you can actually have. So don't discourage them from being around.
Yeah. Wow. You mind if I hold him?
What's your finger?
Hello. Howdy.
Now these guys just have to grow a little bit more, and they will be released into the wild. Once they normally get to about this stage, I put them in an outdoor cage where I have very, very little contact with them so that they do get very used to not being around human beings. Typically, by the time they're released back into the wild, which is always our goal, they are completely reluctant to be around humans. Sort of like me.
Careful, careful.
So when they talk about playing possum and the
They really do
neurological-
that, and every animal has a defense mechanism. Unfortunately, the only one that this has, they will hiss at you and open their big mouth and show you all 50 of their teeth.
50? Wow.
Yeah, 50 teeth, the most of any mammal. She's drooling.
I know,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's-
That's fine. But now this is a little girl. I don't know if you can see her. No, she's not going to let you.
Oh,
But there's her pouch.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the babies will actually live for 2 months. And the pouch will expand to fit the size of the huge load that she ends up carrying around.
oh, come here. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, it's okay.
Well,
Oh
no,
my
no, no,
goodness.
no.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Okay, okay, okay. Have a grape.
It's okay, baby. It's okay, baby.
Okay.
She's like, no thanks. So I don't. So when they are afraid or excited, and this is
When they feel threatened to the point where flight's not going to cut it.
Right.
So say, for instance, a dog's got them, or a coyote or a fox.
Yeah.
They will actually completely slow down their body. Almost like an animal going into hibernation, their heart rate drops, they fall back, they appear dead, their breathing rate drops, and they release the most horrific stench possible, because that basically will tell the predator, this thing's not good to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how they will avoid, hopefully, getting eaten. And it works quite well, because the attacking animal will end up just leaving it. And if you stand and watch, the possum just gradually wakes back up and just trots away. So it works. Playing possum.
Yes. Sometimes with the hiss, and then I see them like open their mouth and do that drooling thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've seen them pee and poop and just do everything they can to
exactly.
get you away from
Yeah.
them.
Well, their poop does have a very bad smell,
Sure.
so they
Yes.
they use that as a defense mechanism. And let me tell you something, I would back away if I could. Yeah. But it works really well, and they have no choice. It's not something that they can trigger like, ooh, yeah, there's a dog, I better do this. No, it's just the fear factor just
Yeah.
pumps it right into them, and they have no choice. They just go into this catatonic defense mechanism that just works.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But they will try to look real fierce, and they'll open their mouth really, really wide, and it looks intimidating. It really does, but.
This one's just chilling now.
Yeah. Every single critter that I get in for rehab always seems to have their own personality. Some of them are just wide open, some are just real chill. It's pretty funny.
This is so cool.
And it's funny too, because they will have variations in coloring. Because you can see even these two, that guy is really dark and that one's light. I've seen them come in almost white or almost black.
Oh, wow.
Color variations are really pretty to see.
And so how old are these?
These guys are probably around, 4 months.
Okay. So yeah, they're pretty close to like being
They're very close to being let go.
self-sustaining.
Yeah.
well.
They would be able to hunt on their own for bugs. And I'm just giving them a little bit more time to wild up. I knew that we were going to be able to do a show and tell here, but
Yeah.
they'll start to really go into the wild up phase now.
Not too much longer.
Sadly, they're very susceptible to frostbite, because as you can see, their ears, their nose, and their tail have no fur.
Yeah.
So in the really cold part of the winter, it is possible to see them get frostbitten ears. I'll see them come in sometimes. The ears have actually turned black from frostbite, and
man.
tips of the tail and so forth. But that's just part of it.
Wow.
They're not highly social animals either. They don't stay in groups. The only time that they stay together is when they're babies and they're dependent on mom for food or for learning how to find the food that they're looking for. Other than that, they don't stay together in groups. The male does not stay with the female after they mate. He just takes off. And she keeps the babies only as long as she has to, and then she's gone, and they pretty much go on their own.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen two possums together, like just out in the wild.
No.
It's always just one on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do see two, it's usually that they're fighting over some dog food in a dog's dish.
Yeah.
Because they're getting so used to urbanization, their ruralization, they're more apt to head for your dog dish if you have a dog food dish outside.
And cat food too,
Yep,
I'm sure,
yep.
yeah. Well, you heard it. Don't try this at home.
Right.
It is not legal to have a possum in North Carolina unless you're licensed and have the proper permits.
Right.
And suddenly she's blowing bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah.
They seem to be pretty feisty too.
They can be. They can be very feisty. Believe it or not, they're pretty fast too. If they have the opportunity to run away from something, they can really book.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate them, for sure.
And so, what other animals do you work with other than the possums?
I pretty much deal with all small mammals. The only thing I don't deal with are deer. So this past year I've had fox, bats, I have several raccoons, bunnies, squirrels, chipmunks, white-footed deer mice. You'd be amazed how many people will rescue mice. So, yeah, all good. Everything has a purpose. Everything is part of the ecosystem, so they're all worth saving. But I do have my rabies vector license, because it's important also to note that in order to handle things like that can carry rabies, so things like fox and bats, certainly raccoons, you do have to have pre-exposure vaccines so that if you do get bitten, you're not going to get rabies yourself.
Yeah.
So the state does a very good job in controlling who's handling what animals, and that they have the knowledge to be able to deal with the animals that they have. So it's all a good thing. You don't want just everybody having a pet raccoon for their child to play with. It's just not a good idea for the child or the animal. So it's good. We follow the state rules for a reason. They're to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
And if there are people that are interested in becoming rehabbers, there are so few of us in the state. I think there's only 38 of us that actually are licensed to be able to do rabies vector.
Wow.
There are more that will handle possums and squirrels and so forth, but the need is terrific. The problem is this is a non-paid volunteer-only job, so a lot of hours go into it. It has to be pretty much something that you're committed to out of love.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get money for it.
Right.
But we always accept people that want to come to us as apprentices to be able to teach and hopefully get people to the point where they can take in rabies vector animals. But it is a process. Mm-hmm. But if people, there are so many different ways that people can help wildlife. One of the main things that I look for every year, and that's getting harder and harder to find, is a safe place to let these guys go. So many houses going up, so much being developed. These guys really are not meant to live in your backyard. I always try to find open woodland, dense foliage, places for them that have a water source that I know that they'll be able to live out their life and continue doing the things that they're supposed to do. So if folks out there don't want to actually do hands-on work with animals, we certainly would love to know about any place that is willing to allow us to release them to live their lives on the property.
So it needs to be property that's not hunted.
Not hunted, and that has relatively small access to homes. So something well-wooded, quiet, and with a water source. As far away from people as humanly possible. So people with, 50-acre tracts that they're just, keeping wild are ideal spots.
Yeah.
Okay. So safe places to release.
Safe places to release, and believe me, donations help. Because we do this as unpaid, the fact that they do need special formulas and special foods while they're growing means that that's an out-of-pocket expense. So if you wouldn't mind linking our nonprofit website to your, linking to your page, that way if people are interested, they can contact us with questions, or if they're willing to make a donation, we'd be grateful for it. And we are a 501c3, so all donations are tax deductible.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put that link in the description.
That'd be
Check
great.
down there.
Yeah. But we take in, I myself personally usually end up with a total of 300 plus animals a year.
Wow.
Between squirrels, groundhogs, possums, a lot of raccoons. This past year with the fox, it was a pretty busy year. Unfortunately, in the fox population, we're coming up with a lot of fox coming in with mange. And people may not know this, but mange is completely curable, but uncured, it is a death sentence. Because the mange, the parasite that is mange will actually eventually affect their organs. So it's important that if there is an animal with mange, we can treat it, but we have to know about it.
Right.
Right.
Gotta get it in time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the 4 fox, they were young fox kits that I got in this past spring, all came through with flying colors and released.
Nice.
So.
Awesome.
So what has been the most interesting or unique animal that you've worked with?
I think the bats have been the most interesting and unique. They're so completely different from the typical mammals. And it was a whole learning curve to come up to know how to treat them for the different things that can happen to them. But they've been fascinating. I've always loved groundhogs, and they're amazingly social critters.
Really?
Oh, they would love nothing better than to sit in your lap with a bowl of popcorn and watch TV.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
no, they are just, and they remind me of little potatoes with legs, because they're just little, they're really cute, but that's not what we do. We obviously, we keep them in an environment that's wild, but they are very, very social, very curious. And the fox are a trip too. So yeah, it's every species has its fascination and its ability to teach so much that it's. I've been very, very fortunate, and I feel very, very blessed to have been able to do this.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite animal that you've worked with?
Squirrels.
Squirrels?
Yeah. They're nature's clowns, and they truly are.
Really?
They are just wide open all the time.
Yeah. Are they hard to keep up with? Like just as much how much energy they have and everything?
No, not really. Not really. They do have a lot of energy, but again, part of doing rehab is that you give them an environment that will give them enrichment. So not just feeding them and making sure that they're healthy and that they're growing, but also to give them the tools that they need to be able to survive in the world, because they don't have a mom that's showing them how to do this stuff. So these guys, it would not be unusual for me to put them in a box with a bunch of crickets.
Oh, and let them
learn how to hunt.
Learn how to hunt.
Yep. So that's part of the process. Just like with raccoons, I'll do a little kiddie pool, with a bunch of goldfish.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
That
yeah.
is so cute.
But if you really want to get
That's
mean
cute.
about it, you can put ice cubes in. Because by the time they get the ice cube, it's gone.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a way of teaching them the coordination to be able to grab things and to understand that is what they need to do. And enrichment may just involve taking some form of a toy and putting the food inside the toy so that they have to learn to be able to grab that and understand that this is how you get your food. So it's a process that you really have to think about what can you do for this animal to set him up for success when you let him go.
Yeah.
And then the hard part when you let them go.
I have to ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked you, but what animal got you started?
A squirrel.
A squirrel. It was a squirrel in wildlife rehab.
Yeah. And that was many years ago. I've been rehabbing here in North Carolina for 20 years.
Wow.
And for many, many years before that in the state that I lived in previously. So, but that was the first one that came through the door.
Squirrel.
And let me tell you, squirrels can scream.
Really?
When they feel threatened, they will let out this high-pitched screech that will just get your attention.
I don't think I've ever heard a squirrel scream.
I don't
Google
think
it.
you want to.
No, Google it.
We might I'll see if I can find a clip and put it in.
A lot.
So people can hear.
Sometimes, and it's interesting because sometimes squirrels will accidentally fall out of the nest. And what we advise people to do, that if it is a young squirrel, give it the opportunity to reunite with mom. And we'll tell people the specifics of exactly how to put that baby back out into the wild in a protected way. And then just Google the sound of a baby squirrel crying and play that. And that will attract mom.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that people can do. Of course, if it doesn't work, we will take the baby. But when at all possible, to get that baby back to mom.
Yeah.
Something I'd like to mention too, especially this time of year, a lot of animals, raccoons, squirrels, many things are looking for, they know that winter is coming. Changes in the earth, they just know it instinctually. And they'll look for places to build a home for the winter. And that may end up being in your crawl space or in your attic. Before you call an exterminator to take care of that issue, there are ways that you can humanely exclude that animal. Because once you call an exterminator or somebody who's a pest control to get rid of that animal will be put down. Part of the law in North Carolina is that if the exterminating company catches the animal, they do have to destroy it. So rather than that be the case, let the animal find its way out. Most wild things have escape routes. They have more than one home. So your crawl space or your attic is only one of those possibilities. If you make your space uninhabitable for them, they will leave. And the way you do that is light and noise. Have you had enough with them?
Oh, no.
So if it's in your attic or in your crawl space, if you can temporarily put a light there, constant light, and play a radio.
Oh, yes.
They want quiet and they want dark. So once you get rid of those two things that they like, they will leave. So rather than spending the money to have somebody come and get rid of them, just try that.
Light and sound. And once they're out,
and
seal
then
the space.
sail the space. Find out where they're coming in, because they're going to come back if you don't do that.
Yeah. They're just looking for a spot
They're
to
just looking.
stay warm.
They're looking for a winter house.
God,
You take her.
it's okay. Well, where are you going? Go here.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
She smells the outside. Whoa, okay.
Oh, she got you.
Lord.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Got towels right here.
Yes. And that's why you don't want a possum. I wish there were smell-o-vision. Okay, let's try to get this whole thing back in the cage.
Okay.
And let me tell you, is that not enough to make you not want to eat that animal? Okay.
Woo!
I'm glad I handled this one and not that one.
You better not.
The male.
Don't speak. You better not say anything.
Well, and I will say this, that the male of most species will be the one that's a little bit more laid back. The females have to be more aggressive because they're the ones that are going to raise the babies. So they're always they're born with this internal sense of needing to protect.
Right.
So completely different mindset on the difference, the sexes between species.
And this guy was just chilling.
He's
Yeah.
quite happy. I should have left you in charge of the wipes.
Yeah. I can't get to them.
I know.
I'll hand it back so
Okay.
we can.
Thank you.
There you go.
I know. He likes you.
Yeah.
Go back with your sister. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else to tell you guys. You have any other questions?
I think we've about covered
I think so.
everything.
I
Seems
think
like
we've gotten through Possum 101.
Yes.
most of our list here has been addressed.
Well, and we've certainly had the complete show and tell.
Yeah. Got interested really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Okay.
again, check the links in the description. And yeah, stay curious about animals. And if you want to care for animals, look up the information and how to do that, how to get licensed
Yeah,
and
just
all that.
check out the link on the
Yeah.
page for New Leaf Wildlife. We're glad to answer questions anytime. If you need help, we're always there.
Yeah. We need more people to help with animals because there's
Well, 'cause
plenty
the-
of them.
And the thing is that veterinarians don't take wildlife. They
Right.
are not licensed to see wildlife.
Right.
We have a few vets who, on their own time, graciously do help us because there are times when we get in an animal that is beyond our ability to help, but can be helped. And we do have some vets that have done amazing work with us. So there are folks out there that can, but for the most part, rehabbers are your only choice.
Yes. Thank you so much for all
Yes,
the
thank you.
information.
This was
and-
great.
I'm glad. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to show people a little bit more about how these guys are pretty beneficial and they're worth having around.
Yeah. Yeah.
No shovels.
No.
No, not a good idea.
No. Thanks.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Yeah. Tune in for the next one and like and subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you down the road.